In the dead of night, when the moon is high and ill winds blow, and the banshees cry and the moonlight casts an unearthly glow, arise, my love, with tales of woe.
Good evening. It is 12 midnight, the paranormal hour. Welcome to Ghost. I'm your host, Chief Lawson. Ghost is a podcast to discuss all paranormal and parapsychology subjects. You can find Ghost on all major formats, so tell your friends, tell your family. Come listen to Ghost. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on a joint podcast. I'd like you to welcome to our crowd Cryptid Creatures and Tinfoil Tales. And Brandon White, who is with Tinfoil Tales, and Todd and Brian, both with Cryptid Creatures. We're all going to be at the Crawfordsville Paracon. I'd like to remind everybody that it's coming up October 24th and 23rd, or 24th and 25th, I'm sorry, and admission is free, so it's a fantastic thing. Come on out to Crawfordsville. It's at the 4-H Fairgrounds. I should never stop drinking this morning. Anyway, it's the fairgrounds, and I think you'll enjoy it. Now, we're going to start off with Brandon Wright, who is he's the creator of Tinfoil Tales and Tinfoil Talks, which are on every Sunday evening. But more importantly, you've done this special. We're all dying to know a little bit about that and where we can watch it at.
Well, currently it is not released. So depending on when this is out, it doesn't come out until June, tentatively.
Okay.
But it should be on some of the streaming platforms and most likely YouTube. I'm not sure about YouTube right now because they did demonetize me yesterday.
Ouch!
So, no. What?
Did you say a naughty word or?
No, to be 100% honest, there is no actual rhyme or reason as to why I've been demonetized. Their excuse is I've been mass creating content and using stuff that I don't own, and it's not true.
Yeah, I've been there. We actually got a notice the other day, one of our music spacers, some Indian group had said, oh, we stole it from them. So, yeah, I get that. And apparently we're not allowed to use the word shoot anymore. You guys are awful young, so you probably don't remember WKRP in Cincinnati, the TV show. But yeah,
my favorite shows.
Oh, God, yeah. You know, I always remember, Dr. Fever got suspended for a few words. And I always... Booger, yeah. So, oh my God, yeah. So God knows. I mean, it seems like anytime you turn around, they demonetize you. So, well, tell me what streaming networks this is going to be on.
Right now, I'm trying to get it on Amazon and Tubi and whatever other platforms I can possibly do. I'm kind of working with a couple distribution options, so it's more or less just up in the air till I get things finalized.
And what website can we go to find out when you get that on and how to, you're going to put a link on your site, are you not?
Yeah. Tinfoiltales.com is the easiest way. So if anyone listening goes to tinfoiltales.com, you can hear my podcast. You can also find more information about the documentary.
Outstanding. Now, tell us a little bit about the documentary. We'd like to know.
It's called the Mississinawa Triangle. I actually have physical copies that they are available right now.
Oh, outstanding.
Oh, cool.
So I've got DVD versions of them, and I've actually sold a few here recently, but the digital version is not available yet.
Now, you'll have those at the Paracon, right?
Yes, they will.
And you'll be able to autograph those. You want an autographed copy. That's the way to go.
You got to open it first. They're all going to be plastic sealed and everything else. We'll
loan you pocket knives. How much are the DVDs at this point? Do you know
15.
yet? 15. Outstanding. That's a better bargain than most. That's cheaper than Dave Schrader. You can tell him I said that. Anyway, outstanding. Can you tell us a little bit about the triangle? Because that's regarding Peru, is it not?
Yeah. It's kind of the whole area, not just Peru. Like Peru's where I live, so I focus mainly around here.
Sure.
But if you go to Wabash County, Grant County, even over in Cass County, there's some stuff like it just Howard County. This whole region down here around the Mississinawa River area,
Mm-hmm.
this whole like hundreds of years ago, obviously this was all Native American lands. And I think that has a lot to do with some of the high strangeness that's down here. Because back in 1812, the U.S. Army came through and wiped out a lot of the Miami Indians that were around.
Oh, yeah.
And then the rest of them were put on the trail of, it wasn't the Trail of Tears, because I think that was the Cherokee. But
That's
they called
Cherokee.
This was the Trail of Death or something. They put them on the Potawatomi and the Miami and everyone, and then when they sent them off to Oklahoma. So I think that ties into a lot of the strange things that goes on around here, because a lot of it seems to be tied into the same areas where the Miami were originally living.
Outstanding. Now, does this cover both not only strange phenomena, but creatures? And are we talking UFOs? Are we talking ghosts? We're talking all of it?
All of it.
All of it.
There's I think 14 to 15 different people that are interviewed in this.
Outstanding.
And I also did like actual investigations in the areas. And
very good.
There's also like stuff that people, like the evidence that people have found, the stuff that I found while doing my investigate. I included everything in there.
Outstanding.
So it's not the typical just listening to people talk or the typical people walking in the woods. Like I tried to make it as entertaining as possible without making it entertaining in the sense of like faking anything. Like everything in here is authentic. So
outstanding. That, nowadays it's hard to find things that don't have a little padding, I call it, with them, to make it more juicy or more probable to publication. I go through that with books every day. Now, do you also have any books out?
I did write something about 2 years ago. It was almost 3 years ago. It's based off of my own experience, and I kind of turned it into like a little short horror story, but I don't have any of those available anymore. And I honestly don't. It's a funny story. Basically, I put everything into one of these Chat GPT, or it was actually the Google one, whatever it was called. And I had it format everything for me because I don't know how to format a book. So I wrote everything and I put it in there. Well, it changed a lot of the wording around. So it made me sound a lot more intelligent than what I actually am. And I don't like selling it because it's not what I like. Some of the words are not what I wrote. And then some of the things were changed around. So to me, I feel like it's not really what I wrote. So I don't want to use it.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm working on my second and third book, and Grammarly is the one that insults me. According to Grammarly, I don't speak the English language. I mean, it tears apart everything I do. I have to keep telling it, ignore. And then I use I hate that program. I don't get it. I mean, I get, I'd like to think of myself as a fairly intelligent guy. I have 2 honorary PhDs. I taught college. And I agree, I can't spell worth a shit. I used to pre-print that before I got it on there to try erase board. But give me a break. I mean, and then I bought a program called Schreiber. It works really good. Although between the two of them, I think they kind of took over books a couple of times. I had to wrench them back. But, you ought to put that in, print and put it out there. I mean, a lot of people are doing that now. So tell me about Tinfoil Talks on Sunday night. I'd like to know a little bit about that.
I'm actually not doing that right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, you're all good. We were doing it. It's been I haven't done it for almost a year. We started doing things on Thursdays, which we were supposed to do one tonight, but my co-host, his wife actually, and they've announced it, so I'm not really saying anything, but basically she's had some sort of a brain tumor.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
They've been dealing with that, so that whole thing's been put off on hold for a while.
Well, that's cool. I will certainly pray for him. I hope everything works out okay. We've had those crop up from time to time. People have problems. So tell me about Tinfoil Tales in general then. Give me a little bit. I mean, what all do you research? Well, better yet, let me rephrase that. What's the favorite thing that you researched?
For the most part, the things that I research is usually cryptid related.
Okay.
But the show itself is based off of interviews, kind of like what Todd and Brian do, like with their show. It's we have guests that call in, and I just interview people with all their strange stuff. So it could be anything from paranormal to UFOs to cryptids to conspiracy stuff, which is, it all fits under the umbrella of the tinfoil hat type of things, because we go down some rabbit holes. Some people come in and think that they've been part of some secret experiments. I've had people come in tell me that they used to be a demon in a past life. Like there's all sorts of stuff that it gets out there. So,
well, that's not a bad thing. That's the way Art Bell started. I mean, let's be real. I mean, he got a lot of good, interesting people. One of the best ones I ever got, we were at the Irvington Festival one time. I don't go to the Irvington Festival because they let a lot of people that run HOAs that are in charge of its operation. Let's just face it. I mean, there's enough Karens there to round up a whole corral. And they make you arrive at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and you have to sit there till they open at 10. And I spent 25 minutes with conversation with a gentleman who told me that the devil lived next door to him. He wouldn't mow his lawn. He'd like me to have a word with him. And yeah, so, after about 3 years, we decided this wasn't where we wanted to be, and we quit doing the Irvington Festival. I have nothing against those people, don't get me wrong, but yeah. So, you get those. One of the best things, and I want to bring this up, we have a hotline. And I got to tell you, this best one ever, because, and I actually got to address this last year with some of the MUFON people, because we got a call one night. When you run a hotline, you're going to get a lot of very valid calls. And I don't want everybody to misunderstand. We believe everybody, and we're willing to try to help anybody. But there are some that are a little out there. So this lady calls me. I'm in a hurry. I'm on the way out to a banquet. I'm in a tuxedo. Well, actually, I'm in a Prince Charlie and a kilt. And I've got to go. And I'm in a hurry. And this lady, we never pick up the phone unless we have 45 minutes. But dumbass me, I pick up the phone. Lady says, well, it's like this, okay? This UFO came over and dropped these ghosts off. I thought, I got this. And she says, anyway, I said, well, let me stop you. I said, since the UFO dropped them off, I said, I'm going to need you to call MUFON and talk to them, because that's where it started, and you should address them. She goes, they gave me your phone number. I thought, those bastards. And what do you do? And I mean, so anyway, but I had to share that. So, but anyway.
Ghost to Ghost will continue right after this.
Good evening, listeners, and thank you for being with us tonight. We'd like to thank Million Podcast Directory for naming Ghost to Ghost #2 in the parapsychology category in the United States. If you're interested to see where your podcasts that you listen to are rated, go to www.millionpodcast.com, and you can look under the paranormal and parapsychology areas and see where your podcasts that you listen to are ranked. Again, we were ranked #2 in the United States, and we thank them very much for that honor. And we thank you for listening to Ghost. We now return you to our normal programming.
Well, I'm going to be really excited to meet you guys. Now, Brandon, are you in Indiana? You said South Bend. Yeah, okay.
I'm from Peru.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, from Peru. God, I love the Circus Museum. I had a assistant chief that worked for me for years. It was from Peru. I haven't been up there in a while. I think it was up at Para-Unity last time we were up there. But certainly, I'll tell you, I'll be interested to get that DVD, and I'll be interested to see this when you get it on live. So that'd be fantastic. So, Ghost to Ghost will be right back after these messages.
Good evening, listeners. Thank you so much for joining our show tonight. We would like to remind everyone that Greenwood Happy Haunts is having a paranormal fest, and that will be in September on the 12th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It is free to the public. Come on out. You get to visit with paranormal advertisers and vendors, and we will see you there. We will be there. Thank you so much for listening, Ghost to Ghost, and we return you to your regular programming.
Guys, Todd and Brian from Cryptid, your turn. Tell me a little bit about your podcast and what you guys do. Don't matter, either one of you.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Our podcast
go
is
ahead,
Brian. That's Todd. Our podcast is Cryptid Creatures, and we do a lot like Brandon. We do our main focus is cryptid, but we do a lot of paranormal and aliens and stuff like that. So
Not
it's
bad.
pretty exciting.
I think so. Yeah. Now, when is your podcast on? When do you publish?
Every Sunday we put a new episode out.
Oh God, yeah, you guys are far. I have a staff, but 15th and 30th, we're trying to get better than that. But I also run a paranormal team, so between the two, it makes it a bit awkward. Matter of fact, at the time we're taping this, we're actually leaving on Sunday for the Monroe Demon House second trip. We were invited back with some of the evidence we had. Let me ask you guys. Now, Brandon, you deal with Bigfoot as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and you guys deal with Bigfoot. I got this one burning question. I asked Bill from Mountain Monsters one time this question. I just got to know this. Who the hell lets the idiot buy those suits for the reenactment? That's what I want to know. Who the hell does that? I mean, Jesus Christ, those suits are horrible. I mean, have you seen those?
Yeah, those are pretty cheap.
I got to tell you, there's a channel for Puddles. Is it Puddles? Puddles.
Puddles, the sad clown.
Sad clown.
The one that sings.
Yeah, he has a duet with Bigfoot. And that suit looks 3 times better than any of the major, of course they're not on currently, but any of the major shows out there. It looks far better. And I'm thinking, who the hell thinks this up? It looks like something from Harry and the Hendersons. Oh, my God. Some of those suits, I've always asked that. I asked Bill that. One time we were up at Michigan Paracon. I got to meet Bill and Huckleberry from Mountain Monsters. I thought Bill was acting. I really did. I thought a lot of this was scripted. So I met Bill. No. Bill was very much. It was funny because being a Marine, and I and my wife are both vets. My wife was Army. I was Navy. And so I met Bill. He'd set this box of crayons out and wrote MRE on them. And I up to him and I said, I and my wife are both vets. I said, my wife is Army. I was Navy. He looks at me and he goes, "Oh, thanks for the ride, Swab." And I said, "I was an officer." He says, "Thanks for the ride, sir." I go, "Yeah, that's much better." And I looked. So we ended up at the bar that night, me and him and Dave Schrader, a few other guys drinking. And yeah, he's sincere. I mean, he's a great guy. I love him to death. I really do.
Oh yeah, what you see is what you get with Bill.
Yeah.
Bill is crazy, and I'll tell you what, he's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I want to say though, Chief, and,
yes, sir,
and your wife, thank you for your service.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us on the show tonight.
We kind of come from a weird end, and
no worries.
We both spent about 12 years. I came out, went in the fire service, and I made it 12 years there before they medically retired me. And if you could see the full room, I'm redoing my office. We've got a house down here that we bought just actually 2 years ago. The first room we redid, much to anybody's dismay, was the crypt for the group to meet at. So and I actually needed chairs for my conference. And I had a church call me and go, "We have church chairs." Of course, I sure as hell didn't tell them what we did. And we went up there for $100 and brought back 10 of the most comfortable chairs you ever have. So we have we have a little podcast center we put together with microphones.
Awesome.
And we're ready to update it, but it sits in the middle of the conference table. So when people come down, matter of fact, Leroy Nail from IBFRO, he lives in Martinsville, and he looked at me and he says, "Well, I'm only about 20 minutes from you." He says, "You said you got a bar?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I need to be there with you so I can see who I'm talking to." I go, "Well, we can do that on video." He said, "I like it better when we're close." I go, "Okay." So
yeah, maybe someday we can all meet up and
I'd like to do that. I could host
Brandon
one
down there.
Yeah, get Brandon down here. I mean, we're not that far from you guys. Peru, about an hour out.
Yeah, we're not that. All of us aren't that far apart.
No,
so.
I mean, you think of slightly south. You know where Greenwood's at, south of Indianapolis. Yep. We are just west of Greenwood, equal distance south. So it wouldn't be that hard to get to. We have this large home. And like I said, we have popcorn. We have a commercial smoker. Usually when we go out on investigations, I'll smoke like a pork butt or a brisket, and we'll cut that down.
If you invite us, we will come.
Well, I tell you what, we like to do have some guest investigators, and we have our own engineer that designs our equipment, and so we have some neat things. Matter of fact, I have right here in front of me, I got a new device he just designed, which is a pack of Morley cigarettes, hailing back to X-Files, and it's actually a REM pod. And it's built in with fake cigarettes, so we go to jail or a infirmary, we can break those out with a small flask and ask someone to sit down with us. And so we have lots of neat gear, and we'll have some of that on display at Crawfordsville. But most certainly, I'll keep you guys open for that, keep you in the know. I mean, because Matter of fact, we're going September the 4th. I think we're supposed to be with another group. We're going to Randolph Asylum. That has never failed to disappoint. And I actually broke in 2 new members there about a year and a half ago, and I'll never forget it because I can sleep through. Being in the military, I sleep in a chair. I can sleep anywhere. It doesn't bother me. Even at 60, I sleep better in a chair with something in the background. And we had some people walking upstairs, and my newest recruit woke me up. She says, "You hear that?" I go, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "What do you think?" I said, "I think it's ghosts." She says, "We're going to get up." I said, "It's 3 a.m. They'll have to pick a better hour." I go, we're good. We got recording devices up, but it scared the living snot out of her. But I tell you what, I would like to do something live with you guys. I think it'd be great. I will work on that if that's okay, and I'll get with you guys when we can. Now, tell me, guys.
That'd be great.
Cryptid creatures. Obviously, Bigfoot is one of those. We don't have Dogman here, do we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do we? Oh,
Brandon,
enlighten me, please.
You want to take that one, Brandon?
Brandon laughed at that, so it ought to be pretty good. Yeah, tell me about this.
The reason I do my podcast and the reason I did this documentary is because I saw one.
No kidding. Oh, please. Would it ruin the sell if we give you to tell a story?
I'll give you the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Basically, a few miles from where I live now, I've lived out in this area my whole life for the most part, and I was coming home from work, and the coworker that I was following behind swerved to miss something in the road, and as I approached it, this was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, so it's still dark outside. It's in February.
Yeah.
And whatever this thing is, I can't see a head. I don't see arms. It's just some weird moving, unnatural looking shape, and basically, it walks beside the vehicle, and then he ends up pulling over into the NDOT parking lot. So if anyone that's familiar with Indiana, if you go down 31 just north of Peru before you get to 24, there's
I know where it's at.
Yeah. And we pulled into that NDOT parking lot, and we were like, what did we just see? Whatever. And I convinced him to follow me back. So we went back right down the road. It's on that same road, the little County Road 200. We went back maybe a quarter of a mile, and there's a dead dog laying in the road, which I thought was a dog. It looked like a large black wolf. I get out of my vehicle because I'm apparently stupid, and I walk up to it, and it's not a dead dog, but it proceeds to stand up like a person.
Wow.
And he's screaming at me to get back in the vehicle. We're face to face. I'm like 15 feet from it. And it crouches down in some weird, like, hunkered position, and it kind of scurries off in some... I can't really describe the way it moves is very unnatural. Like, it brought its front legs up to its chest, and it squatted down like it's getting ready to take a dump.
Wow.
And then it walked off on its hind legs. So it's very... I don't know how to describe it. It's strange.
Wow. How long ago was that?
I think it was February 9th, 2007. So 19 years.
Guys, you got anything to add to that?
It's episode 194 on Cryptid Creatures podcast.
Yeah,
if you want to
we interviewed him about that.
Hell
so.
yeah.
It's called Was It a Werewolf?
I'll
It's
tell
a
you,
great
I'll be watching that tonight.
We respect Brandon as a friend, being down there in Peru, not far from us, and we've been to, gosh, how many conventions together now?
Several cons we've been to,
and every time we go, we hang out, we have dinner, we just talk and hang out.
Time.
So we're excited to look forward to seeing him again down there at Crawfordsville and all the other conventions.
Well, I hope that maybe in coming times we get everybody back to the house, I'll cook up some either pulled pork or some pulled pork with burnt ends or some brisket, and we'll have all that when you arrive. But my wife is half Hispanic, and she does a hell of a job cooking. She can make about anything.
That sounds great.
Oh,
Where are you guys located at?
We're actually in Canby, so I don't give that information out usually, but I feel safe to give it out now. We're pretty well situated, and
in Indiana.
In Indiana, we're right southwest of Indiana. So we're in the southwest corner before you hit Mooresville.
Okay.
And so anyway, we've been there for about 2 years now, and we have a good place. We're pretty happy here.
Are you guys going to the Indiana Bigfoot Conference in Nashville?
I've never been to one. I'm actually friends, believe it or not, with a good buddy of mine off Expedition Bigfoot and Russ. And Russ asked me the other day, he says, I don't ever see you at any of these conferences. That's
Russell Cord?
Michigan. Yeah, Russell Cord. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I've got one of the Patty Bigfoot cast molds he made that Bob Gimlin signed here, framed above. And like I said, we do parapsychology. I always remind everybody that. Although I've got, you can see a Bigfoot cutout behind me. I bought that because my wife wanted me to start a wood shop out in my shop. I generally work on guns and other things, not usually wood, but I got wood capability. So I bought it to make a pattern off of, and you can see it's hanging up. We're actually still rebuilding this room. We're doing some framing work and so forth in the crypt. But I've never been. I was told, so many people say how great they are. Leroy's mentioned it. I've had several people say, you really need to be there. I go, yeah, but I don't do cryptid,
So there's another one, Crypticon, this year is at, used to be in.
Actually, what's that one we're going to in June right down there by him?
There's a paranormal
Is that
one
one in Nashville?
Just south of
in
Indy.
Greenwood.
Greenwood, yeah, Greenwood. There's
Greenwood
a paranormal
Happy
conference
Haunts?
going on there.
Greenwood Happy Haunts.
It's a one-day thing down there. Yeah.
You'll see me there because I know Corey who runs
Okay,
that.
cool.
And I've been,
we'll
last year we were there for the regular Paracon
In June,
one.
right?
Yeah,
Like June
no, this
24th or
was
something like that.
I think last year was it June. Oh my God, I have to tell you, and I felt so sorry for him. That, we'd had this kind of a drought up here, and that was the only day it rained, and it came this monsoon with like a tornado winds. And these poor vendors had never done this before. Of course, it's all outside. So I had an old blacksmith show me how he secured his tent down. And the first thing I did, actually, Crystal from Rhodes was not far from me, and I knew her. I mean, her father. We're talking about garage and tools of all things. And so he had to leave, and I went and helped her tear down because I had this secured. I have enough staff on hand to do stuff. They had like 8 of these pop-up canopies go 30, 40 feet in the air. I mean, it tore the place apart. Storm came through. It was horrible. A lot of the guys wouldn't come back because they lost a lot of material. A lot of them were vendors that sold things. We didn't sell anything. So other than our Paranormal U and my books, and that's about it. So we had all that secured. And at the time it came in, I was actually at the Suds Drive-In down there. By the way, when you go, you want to eat at Suds. The owner knows me. He's a good guy. They got some great food. It's an old-fashioned 50s drive-in. It's just 3 doors down from where this takes place. But yeah, I'll stop by and see you guys while you're there. I won't have a booth there. I'll have a booth. The June one they've asked me, I haven't confirmed. I have a booth, and when do we have a booth? September.
I think so.
Yeah, September at the Haunts there. We have a booth up there. Crystal from Rhodes is going to be there. The people from Randolph will be there. Saving the Properties, Debbie and Alan, all those will be there. So we'll be there for that one. Corey and her husband are really nice people. They're good people. So I thank you guys for helping them. They're really nice about things, and we try to advertise that. Let me ask you, okay, because I'm going to get you all while I've got you on here. I'm going to ask you all the fun crypto questions I've always wanted to ask. Lougarou, I've always been entertained by the whole story. I'm a Cajun fan, and we actually bring up blood sausage. We bring up crawfish live. We do a boil here in June. And all my friends, which are now my friends, we invite everybody. It's like a $15 pay in just so I can cover the cost. And we do a big boil out back, and we lay these out with the corn and the potatoes. And I got Masonic Brothers here. I got a lot of people here. It's a good thing. We're big into that, and of course you get the full bar, the full entertainment, and one of the things I've always enjoyed is the Lougarou. So do you guys have any attachment or do anything with that? And if no is a perfectly good answer.
What episode was Roy?
Oh, okay.
Well, Brandon is 194. Roy's 45.
Oh,
45. That was our first Rougarou.
Well, yeah.
So
we've had a lot of dogman encounters on our show, but what Brandon saw was obviously a dogman.
yeah.
for real. Yeah.
But 194, I'm sorry, was Brandon's episode. But Roy Stubblefield, episode 145. I'm sorry, 45.
Yeah, 195. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to write that down just so I make sure. I'm going to try to catch all these in my spare time, which I don't have as much but I will catch it over the weekend. My stepdaughter goes to prom tomorrow night, so I'm the chauffeur. and this is her
Okay,
last
well.
rodeo. Yeah.
You want some downtime to listen to something cool in your car?
Yeah.
that's a
I
good
mean,
one.
this is great. I listen to most of mine when I go to bed. I try to listen when I can. You know, I've got some other guys. You know, of course, Joe Shortridge, 222 Paranormal. Him and I have been buds for a long time. Chris and his wife with Traveler's Moon, and we all travel in those circles. You know, the first time I ever, my daughter is one of these guys, one of these gals, and her husband who do van life, and I'm an old guy, so I don't understand any of that crap. But anyway, they travel around. They've got a camper, kids, my grandkids, the cat, whatnot, and they go different places. They love Louisiana, which I've never understood, but I love Cajun cooking, calabash cooking. You know, of course, I've been big on that, and I love going down there. And I was stationed in the South Indies for a long time, so when I first got into Bigfoot was my grandfather. He lived in Arkansas, just southwest of Little Rock. And he told me one time that he saw this creature, and he explained to me what it looked like. He had about 16 acres. He lived with my aunt and her family. And his whole thing, he was an old guy, kind of, unfortunately, like I'm finding myself this day and age. And he'd go out and kill copperheads and bring them and hang them over the fence. And they're edible, but my aunt didn't approve of him cooking them in the kitchen, so he would leave them out. And so anyway, he told me about this Bigfoot encounter. About 2 days later, he made the paper down there, and he cut out the paper, and he sent it to me, and I started my first newspaper clippings. So I have a lot of those, and I'll tell you, you know, that was one of the things I'll never forget. And so it stuck with me. I have never personally saw anything that I think I can, you know, not that I believe they're out there. I think there's a lot of questions I have because I see a lot of these people that are big into this. These are creatures from a different void or a different reality. You know, they're from the Cryptid universe, and they can transverse between gates. And I don't know. I maybe it's the old guy that just likes the original stuff. I kind of buck that a little bit. What do you guys think of that?
I have opinions, but my opinion
please.
means nothing.
Hey, opinions are what I'm looking for. What do you think?
I think everything's connected.
Do you? One big wheel?
I don't want to say I'm a woo person in the sense that everything is like that, but I feel like everything, and this is really tinfoily, I feel like everything is planned to an experience. Like, so if you have one experience, it opens you up to other experiences. So people that see Bigfoot, they usually see something paranormal, like they've had paranormal encounters before, or they've seen UFOs. And the further you dig into it, more people have more experiences, and they've had more than what they probably realized because they're just not in tune with it. But once they have that one, it kind of opens them up more. So maybe it's because you notice them, they start noticing that you've noticed them, so you notice more about it because now they're interested in you.
Fair enough. Todd, Brian?
Well, Brandon, has that happened to you since you've seen your dogman encounter? Have more things... Have you seen more things? Have more things open up to you, you think, or not? I
don't want to ruin my documentary.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm trying not to ask.
That's a great answer.
That
is a great answer.
Yeah. That's why I need a documentary. But anyway, I'll tell you, the funny thing with that is I've always been the hardcore kind of guy. And for years and years, and we've been around since 1999, Spirit Paranormal Indiana. And my co-founder, who has since retired, always jokingly said that spirits were afraid of me. It's the reason I couldn't get anything to come to it. One night this goes many years back, we were in Cumberland, Indiana, and we're investigating this apartment complex. And I don't normally have interactions with spirits. I wished I did. I don't. What got me into this years ago, my dad... he was a family of 5. He was a child of 5. And my grandfather, his mother died. She died early and left the kids. My grandfather had to work at Chrysler in Kokomo back when it was there. And so they lived in Newcastle. And my dad was the oldest, had to take care of him before he went in the Navy. And one day, after his mother died, like 2 days, she appeared to him on the edge of the bed and told him that she'd be there and she'd take care of all this. So... needless to say, that had a profound effect on me. So I got interested in all things paranormal. I got specialization in parapsychology. I actually took some of those courses, actually taught some of those. We actually have a paranormal university we'll talk about later. But one of the things that I find interesting with most of this is the fact that, there's something that always ties it in. And that was mine. And then my grandfather's sighting a Bigfoot in Arkansas. And it put me into it forever. And I live and breathe paranormal. Heather can tell you, because if we're cheap, we're retired, so we live on a fixed income. None of my books have made Dan Patterson's level yet. So anyway, we have streaming TV. If you turn on YouTube right now on a Fire Stick, you'll find 90% of all the things it puts up are paranormal. And we spend every Saturday night. This is a truly deep love I have with my wife, and we watch Seb Gooley on MeTV every Saturday night. And we can't see it; we record it. So we've been in this for a long time, and I think everything ties people into this. But the one thing that gets me is, and I don't want to offend anybody because everybody has their opinions, but when I look at this, and of course I'm not in cryptozoology, you guys are in that, you're the experts. When I look at it, I have issues with this whole, you're not an expert. I see.
No one's an expert.
Nobody's really an expert. I mean, all we have is speculation and theory.
Well, it's a pseudoscience. All
anyone
of it
that
is.
claims they're an expert in stuff that they can't prove exists is full of shit, in my opinion.
I'm glad you said that, because I used to train my rookies. I'm a retired fire chief, and I ran a nationwide response team. We went to Hurricane Isabel, Hurricane Katrina. I spent a week at 9/11. We went to Henryville. I always tell my guys, if you see an expert, there's a tombstone somewhere, because that sumbitch gets you killed. I mean, it's an evolving science is the way I like to look at it. And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of things. I've had a lot of friends come back. One of my best buddies was a fishing friend, and I fish when I can, which is rare. And he told me he went down to Madison. Well, I actually had been down there recently. At that time, I had played bagpipes at the Madison County winery, Madison Family Winery. And we actually had done a night down there. And he told me, so I was fishing, something threw rocks at me. He said, do you know what that is? I said, well, it's either a pissed off landowner or a squatch. I mean, it could be either one. And we talked about that. And I found myself gravitating. Matter of fact, Chris asked me who is the organizer. Chris and Christine are the organizer for Crawfordsville Paracon. They asked me, they said, would you be interested in some Bigfoot outings? I would. But right now I got so much going on. It's not available. I don't have that time. I wished I could, but I've thought a lot about that, and and certainly that's a big issue. And I know a lot more people. Leroy told me, he said, "You'd be surprised how many sightings are around you," and that kind of shocked me a little bit. I thought that the other day. I thought, wow, I'm thinking this is like Nashville, Bedford, that area. No, he said, no shit. There's some around the airport and everything else. I was really shocked to hear that. So. It makes a big difference. Now, so let me ask you this. Now, what other cryptids besides Bigfoot do you guys kind of specialize in on cryptid creatures?
Everything. Dogman.
Yeah, the second biggest one is Dogman, obviously.
Dogman.
I mean, we've had Mothman.
Really?
Couple
In Indiana?
Jersey Devils.
Not in Indiana.
No, not in
okay,
Indiana.
No.
Okay.
We're spread out across the world, but yeah, Dogman. Man,
You
gosh,
scared me there.
The
My
rake.
house has got a
had a rake
laser.
creature.
Really?
Yeah. So many weird things out there that we've seen or that we've heard of that are similar to what maybe people have seen, but maybe a little different. So we're not sure. But man, if you just guys go through our episodes, check us out, Cryptid Creatures, on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. We've got a lot of different stuff, just like Brandon. I mean, Brandon had
we're everywhere. So
You guys
Brandon's
are really
got aliens and all kinds of.
Have you guys dealt with MUFON very much?
No.
Okay.
no.
I haven't
really.
either. I just met them briefly last year. I told that joke about the caller And now, of course, I let it over to them. They looked at me like, asshole. I don't know.
I'm going to speak freely.
Go ahead.
I was
Yeah.
talking to someone from the Indiana MUFON last year, and he came off very arrogant, so I quit talking to him.
Well, I'll tell you, Leroy, I don't know Leroy. I never actually met him. But he seems like a down-to-earth guy. He was right next to him. He told me, he said, you're pretty cool. He said, but, he said, and thank you, my wife is bartending for me at this point. Anyway, he said, he said, and he kind of acted kind of funny, which made me wonder, because I went over to talk to him just briefly. I tried to talk to everybody at the festival. I always have this opinion that I'm open-minded to anything. There's only a few things I shut down on, and there's very few. I mean, I'm open-minded to anybody, and I'll help anybody that asks me. I've always done that because people have helped me. I ended up where I'm at because people were willing to step in and help me. And I tell you what, that's what this community should be about. One of the biggest arguments I have in the world is the Paracon people and paranormal people who don't want, and it's competition to them. I went through this with fire for many years. And, of course, right now in Indianapolis, in case anybody doesn't know, the April is the month of FDIC, Fire Department Instructors Conference, is the world's largest firemen's conference. You'll never have more drunk firemen in any location at one time than here. It's the end of June, end of April, I'm sorry. And I have helped out with the pumper pools, lots of things. And, I've kind of gotten away from that now. I've retired. But, it's a unison kind of thing. And the problem is I see a lot of these people see it as a competition. We used to do a Paracon over at the Hannah House, and we used to do tours through there. We helped out. Our DMLA and Masonic World ran that. And it got to be, pardon the expression, but a dick measuring contest. We got out there, everybody wanted to see, who had the best equipment. And, it's like, I don't bring my equipment out here. I can't afford, because we don't get paid for anything. I get paid for my lectures. I get paid for my, and that's actually honorarium, but I get paid for it and I share it with the group. I give it half back, but we lose equipment. That comes out of somebody's pocket. So we don't go out there and display equipment. If you're out there to see who's the best in the market, you're in the wrong spot. I want people who their heart is where it's at. And that's the key to this thing. And I felt strongly about reaching out to you guys. I thought this would be a good chance to get to know you guys a little bit, and certainly to build bridges and to build relationships. And nothing else, we all get drunk in a pub one night. I mean, geez, Pete, the options are, God.
Hey, we're always down for that.
Hey, you come here one night. I'm building my fire pit out back. Somebody says it looks like it's some sort of demonic, like a burnt offerings altar, and I go, you got a goat? I'm just asking, for a friend. Anyway, no, I actually, yeah. Bad thing is about 60 is your mind's about 20, your body's about 60, and you realize you can't do that all day long. We're actually doing the landscaping and everything. We'll have a wonderful big place for a fire pit and everything. But you guys are always welcome. You're always welcome here. You're welcome to the Crypt. We're working on that. And I tell you what, one of the things I want to ask, I don't know a great deal about UFOs. I've studied some, but certainly, how many UFO sightings have we had? And this is for Brandon, this is for Brian, this is for Todd. How many UFO sightings have we had around here lately? Last 2 or 3 years.
In the last 2 or 3 years?
Yes.
A lot.
I was going to say.
That's a good answer. There you go. You have future in politics, I'll tell you.
There is a website that I go to.
Okay.
And it's where people do, and I have to bring it up over here, but
please.
There are reports all the time. Let me see if I can figure out what it is, because
that's fine.
There is something.
I think people see something every day, every week.
Yeah.
Sure. We had a guy very close to us do a show with us not too long ago in the area between Brian and I, where he saw a lot of crazy stuff going on. So who knows? We've been seeing these things for years.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you, back when I was at IU, I was in the IU Naval Commissioning Program. And this goes back into the I mean, we're going back. You guys are young compared to me. So we're going back in the 80s, late 80s. And there was a big sighting there that made the paper, at IU, when a cigar-shaped craft went across. Now, that's one of my biggest regrets, because I could have seen that if I hadn't been so damn drunk. But anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, there was like, my wife is laughing at me. But anyway, there's like 80-some sightings. And there was more than that after they got looking at it from areas as that craft moved from southeast to southwest. And that was one of the big things back then. And I remember it very, very well. So, I was just curious. I don't keep up on that, so I knew you guys did.
I don't know if you can see. It says I'm trying to share the screen.
Yeah, I can see it now, but I can't see it real good.
That is just within the last 6 months.
Holy shit. Brandon, will you send that to me by email?
Yeah, I can send you the link.
Okay, just curious.
Is that emails you got about sightings?
Wow.
No, this is a database that gets reported for everywhere. And I've used this for my own interest. But again, there was one here in my local town, Peru, white light above the clouds performing abrupt turns. That was just in January. And there was one just north. There's one in Kokomo.
Wow.
There's been so many of these reports, and a lot of them are these orange orbs.
Yeah.
Which that is actually in the trailer of my documentary where I interviewed someone from Kokomo that had recorded the orange orbs in January. So one of the reports on here about the yellow orbs on the 13th of January, multiple people saw that. I actually have someone have video of that in the documentary.
Wow. I tell you what, that's a lot more than I ever dreamed. I'll tell you that. Wow. There's a lot there. I was afraid to touch the screen. I wanted to blow it up. I see it better, but I was afraid I'd screw something up on my end. That's a lot more than I believe. I'll tell you, out here in the country, one of the greatest things, I learned this backpacking back in the 80s before I went to graduate college, was that you get to see all the stars and everything. It's fantastic. You don't get to see those when you live in a city with bright lights and a lot going on. I mean, it's really nice. Now here, my wife is, and she hasn't spoken a whole lot. My wife is Heather. She is she's our podcast director, and she sits in the shadows a lot of times and corrects me when I'm wrong. There's nothing better than having a good wife that tells you when you're making an ass out of yourself, you've had A, too much to drink, or B, you've spelled that wrong. And that's what she kind of does. She keeps me straight. So, but, she does a lot of astronomy. She has a wonderful telescope I bought her. She puts out on the deck. And we have this wonderful large deck that oversees the property. And, we see a lot of lights. The problem is we're so near the airport, it's hard to tell what is and what is not. And my sighting days with the Navy is long since gone, so I don't have that like I once did. But I kind of figured there was a lot that went on. So, question I have for Todd and Brian, what is the weirdest, well, actually Brandon too, what is the weirdest cryptid you've ever dealt with? I know there's sheep squatch, there's a ton of stuff out there. What is the weirdest cryptid you've dealt with in Indiana, in the state?
That's got to be the rake creature.
Rake? No, there's a rake here?
If you ever heard the rake creature, it's a very skinny, pale looking thing. We had
mine's been my second
John Pike from Brandon, what's his?
Myth, Monsters, and Mullets.
Oh, yeah.
Myth, Monsters, and Mullets. Come on. And he was driving from Ohio to Indiana. Just him and his wife were just going to Walmart.
My wife says, so what do you say?
I said, that's a heck of a name.
Oh, yeah. But no. I mean,
Say that 5 times
well, he
fast.
calls himself John Methencamp, but his
John Methencamp.
Yeah. He has he wears a mullet for his interviews.
Well, there you go. You got to be stylish.
But we had him on the show. We talked about his rake encounter. Brandon, I don't know if you had him on that for yours too, but
raking.
Man, that was like that was one of our biggest episodes. It blew up. I mean,
wow.
It was one of our most popular episodes. He said he just crossed Indiana line on, was it State Road 30 or something like that, coming to Fort Wayne?
He was, from what he had told me, because he's actually in my documentary too. He's on video in the documentary.
Sweet.
It was just north of Muncie. So it was and it was within a half a mile of the Mississinewa River.
Wow.
Which ties back into my whole.
Interesting.
Now, I have a story. I don't want to do this online. I'll talk to you guys when we get done recording. It deals with a training area that you all three probably know of that Homeland Security uses south of here. I have a story with that might interest you, but we'll do that afterwards. I don't want to do this online because I get in a little bit of trouble. You know, one of the things that is very big and popular on YouTube right now is our guy on the Y-Files. I'm sure we've all watched him. You know, I watch Joe Rogan, I watch Sean, I watch him, I watch everybody out there. I look at Styles and everything. I may not watch him for the same reasons, but the other day he said on one of these videos that he'd been contacted by the assistant director of the CIA to let him know he liked these videos. I personally have some mixed. Yeah, I have. So tell me what you guys think. What would you do if they contacted you and said the same thing?
I would put that on many, many, many commercials. We would advertise the hell out of that.
Oh, yeah. Marketing to no end.
CIA listens to our podcast.
You know.
I did take a screenshot of this earlier because I kept getting a phone call. I don't know if you can see it, but.
I got it, but it's not. Yeah, I got the number. Yeah.
Washington, D.C. I said apparently.
Hey, I go with that. Whether it is or not, I go with that and say, hey, look, they called me.
I didn't answer. They didn't leave a voicemail. It's like the third time they've called me this week. I don't know who from Washington's wanting to talk to me, but.
Could be interesting. Might be.
You better answer that shit, bro.
You know, recently.
That's why I got demonetized.
Step up, do it.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah. We recently refied our house. So we get a lot of these, and of course we went VA loans. We got a lot of these, feedbacks. And I got to the point at one day I was sitting there and I might have had a couple of scotches. And I thought, I'm tired of dealing with this. So the guy calls and he says, well, we can give you a better rate. And I said, well, I can't really do that right now. My lawyers advised me I cannot. He says, lawyer. I go, yeah. The attorney general is looking at me possibly for a grand jury inquiry. He said, what happened? I said, well, look, I want you to understand, I didn't know what was buried on this property. I really didn't. I didn't have any idea what was buried on this property. The guy goes, oh my God, did they find bodies? I said, I didn't say bodies. I'm just saying, I don't know what was buried on this property, and it wasn't oh my God, I had this guy awfully. I started screwing with all these guys, and I realized it just created more calls, but it was fun for a while. It lasted. I will say that. So if the CIA called you, I don't blame you. I think that'd be a good marketing end. I really do. And certainly he used it as a marketing end as well. What's the strangest call, Cryptid Creatures, what's the strangest call you've ever received?
Jesus.
Email, whatever.
I mean.
A lot, I know.
We've had a lot.
Yeah,
yeah. It's hard to narrow down.
Call, show. Are you talking show or just
whatever you want to go with? Email, call, show, whatever you want to do.
So, Brian doesn't really know too much about this, but for some reason, this crazy girl in I don't know where she was, like Washington or out there. She got my number, and or I gave her my number because we were going to do a show with her, and we never did. Brian, I never told you this, but. She started like texting me at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, like for a week.
Oh, wow.
And like after 2 nights, I'm laying in bed.
Personal stalker. Yeah.
Yeah. She was kind of stalking me a little bit. Man, I got a bug in my nose. Did you guys see that?
No. I see something, but I didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Like a freaking whatever. But
rocket. Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to block people. I don't want to be a dick.
No.
The hardest thing for me with this thing, if you're going down that road, is, we have fans, right? So,
sure. And that's a hard base. Anytime you have fans, it's hard to keep that.
You get a little bit of weird people.
Yeah.
Kind of wanting, and they may not. I don't know, Brandon. I don't know if you've dealt with that or not yet, but. You get some fans that are a little bit
I'm
creepy.
sure he has.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they don't meet you in person, but they just want to talk to you online, and they will not stop.
There
So
is
you
a
have, to block,
reason
you have to
that
block them. You know, you ignore them so many times. It's like, okay, enough's enough. And
there's
I
a
hate
reason
to
I
do
made a
that.
different profile.
What's that, bud?
There's a reason I made a different profile to do the show because
Yeah.
I had people
So
contacting
That's
Emily.
not dumb.
Try to
That's
get
not
hold of
dumb. That's very
one thing.
intelligent.
One thing, Brian and I. One thing that Brian and I, you know, our mission statement was from the beginning, Brian, if you would say this, is that, you know, we're not going to be shitty to people, no matter what, you know.
We made this podcast to be a safe place for people to come.
We're not going to be hateful.
Safe telling you their secrets.
We're not going to let people talk shit. But then again, you know, you get these people that just keep emailing you and bugging you that won't come on the show, but they want to interact with you in that personal level, and it's like it gets weird. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they find out your personal Facebook, and they find out who you are, and that's why I changed my name from, you know, my last name. I changed it around a little bit, but they still find out who you are, and they'll
find you if they're good enough.
They still do that, and Brian knows that too. He's dealt with that as well. So, but you want to be cool to everybody, man. You don't want to.
We try to be. Yeah, we try to be.
You don't want to shun people. You know, you don't want to. You don't want to make people hate you, because your listeners are your fans, and we're doing that for that reason.
It's a tightrope. It's really a tightrope.
But the reason we're doing it is because we want to put the word out there.
Sure.
We're doing this because
we want to bring Bigfoot to the mainstream. We want to make sure everybody and cryptids in general, you know, that these things are really out there and people need to know.
And that's a big thing, because being willing to believe makes a difference. I mean, I know it sounds almost corny, but it's true. I mean, we've had some. I mean, I get that. My wife, for 12 years, was a roller derby. She did roller derby for years. She coached it. And she got stalkers. You know, it comes with that program. You know, when you dress that way, you get that, you know, it comes with the program. And I think we do too. And my wife is laughing over here. And I got to tell you this story. But first, I want to get something out of Brandon, and I'll tell you my story. Brandon, what do you have to add to this?
As far as the cryptids go?
Yeah.
The reason I do my show is because I wanted answers for what I saw myself. And I don't think I've come up with any real answer. It's just been more questions. And I just want to give people a spot to, basically, I felt like I couldn't talk about anything that happened to me because people are going to think you're crazy. So my idea was to make a show that people could feel comfortable coming on and talking about it with someone, because you can't always just talk about some of the things you experience with other people. And that's what I wanted to give the opportunity to other people to come on and talk about. But the more I've done this, like Todd was talking about, I get a lot of weird stuff coming my way all the time. I've had people call my wife through Facebook because I was not responding to their messages. There's a boundary line that you don't have to cross, but people have no common sense when it comes to stuff like this. Like, they don't, without sounding like an asshole, like, there's just specific things that go on, and like this is not my full-time job. No, I'm a nobody. I'm a guy with a microphone. Don't call me at all hours of night. Don't text me. Don't message me, because I don't have an answer for you. I've literally had someone reach out here recently wanting me to tell them what they experienced, like what they saw, because someone else told them was something and they didn't agree with that. So they wanted to know what my opinion was. Like, well, my opinion doesn't mean anything. I'm just a guy. Like, I don't know anything. Yeah,
but they're looking for somebody to agree with their opinion. If you don't, they'll go to the next guy.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not that person. I'm not going to tell someone what they want to hear. Like,
you know, the funny thing is, and you guys, I mean, I think a lot of you already, because you remind me a lot of Art Bell. You know, Art Bell, back in the day, he did things that weren't acceptable. He broadcast, he took in every story he could take. And I mean, I get that, Brandon. I mean, my wife, one of the funny stories she told, and she wants me, she's sitting over here kind of going on about it. She calls it my girlfriend. And this woman called me one night, and she's probably in her 80s, and she's at a nursing home, okay? And sweet lady, my mother's 90. She turned 90 this last year. So I get that. I've got people in the Masonic order that I'm around that are older, and I feel sorry for her. She tells me this nursing home has a lot of ghosts and so forth, and she sees them. So I talk with the nursing home providers. I said, hey, if it makes her happy and you guys are okay with it, I'll just come in with me and my wife. I won't bring a team or equipment or anything else. We'll come in, we'll make this work out where she's happy with. No. Can't do that. We can't have you in the facility. But she called me, and oh my God, it didn't matter whether it was 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock. She called me, tell me about the spirit she'd seen. And it was very hard. And I finally had to tell her, I said, look, I'm sorry. I'd do anything I could to help you, but I can't. Your directors at the facility you're living at does not let me do that. And I'm sorry. And I say, I apologize. But you do get stalkers. I mean, it happens. Although here lately, as you get older, you'll find that eventually will solve itself, but it does happen. We get calls. I got one the other night at 3 a.m. about a ghost, and I tried to call her back for 4 or 5 times. If you're going to call us and leave us a message, please leave us a contact number. I can get a hold of you in hours. I can talk to you. A lot of times at 3 in the morning when you're scared and you're desperate, that's a good time to call. You'll leave me information, but you won't come back after that point because now it's just daylight and everything looks a little different. Yeah, you're not going to get in the middle of it. And that's the problem. It does happen. So I guess we're at right now, because I know we're getting kind of close to the end of an hour. So let me tell you a little bit about me. And because you guys really don't know me. You guys seem like really cool guys, and I really appreciate you doing all this. I know you took time out of your schedules and you're all busy. And one fascinating thing about me and my wife is we're retired. So we got a large schedule. It makes a difference. And a lot of people will tell you being retired is great. And it is until you actually have to pay bills. Anyway, my background is I'm a fire paramedic. I actually worked for two departments, and one of which was a nationwide response team. And I actually went out on, as we talked about before, Hurricane Isabel, Katrina. I've been out on Henryville. I've been out on on Ground Zero and so forth. So over the years, I got into this for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of haunted firehouses I'd love to be able to do investigations on, but we can't because those houses are active and it would be too much contamination. We started out in actually 99. We formed, and we've been here ever since as a parapsychology team. We do a lot of high-end science, a lot of parapsychology work. So, yeah, we don't, if I get encrypted, I turn it over to you guys or Leroy or somebody else. I pawn that off. I'm sorry to say, and I do the same thing with UFO sightings. Now, we have Geiger counters. We have a lot of equipment besides that. We have a lot of special equipment. I have 7 people on my team, and the name of our team is Spirit Indiana Paranormal. Out of those 7, I have an IT manager. I have a social media manager. She handles our Facebook and Instagram. And no, we have not got into TikTok. I've had people ask me, why are you not in TikTok? Because I have one poor lady that handles all that. If we get bigger, we may get into that. We do what we can. I have an IT manager. I have a research manager. I have a PR manager. I have a lot of staff on hand. Out of those 7, we do wonderful investigations. We'd like to think we do pretty well. We are breaking into YouTube. Our YouTube channel is G2G Indiana. And we are new. We have very few followers. Like 8 or 9. We just started publishing that over. As me and the guys were talking, we're going over from podcasting into video casting. So it's a bit new. We do broadcasts from, and this first time I've ever omitted where we're at. So you guys are the first time, we've never been on any podcast I've ever told other than Indiana where we're at. And for those around us, you may see me from time to time. I've actually, I lecture across the state. We do a lot of lectures on our PR. I actually was in a Mexican restaurant one time, and a lady kept looking at me. I thought, oh God, my wife's going to kill me. This is one of my students or something, or she's stalking me. Turned out someone was at my last lecture. It came down from my lecture we were doing that evening. It was in southern Indiana. So we travel all over the state of Indiana. We do lecturing. We actually, Ghost to Ghost is a product of Spirit Indiana Paranormal. So Ghost to Ghost is our podcast. We produce on the 15th and 30th of every month. We want to increase that at some point. I like to have relationships with everybody because I really think the paranormal, it's good that we all have good relationships with each other and can intermix. We investigate across the entire state of Indiana, a little bit over the borders, but we have other teams that can do that if necessary that we're friends with. We also operate a Paranormal University Masterclass, which is a course that we put on for parapsychology. It is a college-level course. It is a 12-hour course. The first course, which deals with paranormal investigation or parapsychology investigation. We don't deal with ESP. We micronize it down to the point we're dealing with life after death. We put on that course. We do the history. It's a really great course. We signed up for that after the first of every year. We're actually in negotiations. We hold that at paranormally active sites. We can't always guarantee ghosts on the ghost tours, but we do what we can. The money that is charged for that goes to pay for the actual site, and what's left over goes to help us buy equipment. We have 7 members, as I said before. We have 4 subject matter experts. We have one who is son of Sid, who does all of he's electrical engineer. He does all of our equipment, builds it by hand. We have a clergy member, which is Reverend Michelle, and she actually deals with cleansings and things that we don't have to. We have a new lawyer who just came on, and I'm not giving her name yet because we haven't got her all the way in. And then we have you're going to love this. We have a paranormal weather expert, and that's Kevin Scott. He's our other subject matter expert. So we have a large calling. We try to hit everything we can. There's a lot of requests for us out there. We try to get everywhere we can. We've been a lot in a lot of places since then, and I'm actually, as the founder, I'm working on my second and third book. Second book is a handbook for parapsychologists. It has readings and things in both Goss and Tesla. It's basically a handbook to be able to pick up. It wouldn't be open or is desirable for a reader that's journalized in parapsychology. The second one is Ghost Stories of Indiana and Paranormal Lore, and Volume 1, and it deals with a lot of the locations, and there's several others I'm got on the back burner I'm working on. So those are coming out. We do, again, try to work with every group we get with. Right now, one of the big things we're trying to do is promote the Crawfordsville Paracon. The state of Indiana really doesn't have one. They have a couple of Bigfoot conventions, but we really don't have a big Paracon that covers everything. For years and years, my team went up to the Michigan Paracon. We enjoyed it immensely. Those guys had a disagreement, and it disembarred. The one that's there now isn't not like it used to be. For the 6 or 8 years we went up there, it had a wonderful thing. We would like to rebuild that in Indiana. So we're looking for people. I got to tell you, I can't ask you enough to listen to Cryptid Creatures and Tinfoil Tales. They're fantastic. The time I got to look at them, the guys have been fantastic. I hope to get them out here sometime to the crypt so we can all have a good time. But, we need to bond together. Indiana needs a Paracon. It needs a big, major Paracon. And we're not able to afford Jason Halls and the guys from, certainly from that area. But on this particular Paracon, I want you to know a couple of quick facts. One is we have Mike Rickseckler, who I want to thank personally as a friend who agreed to do this to help us out and get started. Mike is award-winning Travels Through Time. He's Amazon bestseller in A Walk in the Shadows and Alaska's Mysterious Triangle. I'll tell you, Mike has been all over the place, and him and I have had, if you want to reach back to one of our, actually, and I don't have the, you guys have the actual episode number, and I don't, Mike was on our show, but Mike, fantastic individual. This guy's a heavy hitter in the paranormal world. He will be there. He'll be signing autographs. He'll be there for you to talk to, selling his books. And again, stop by everybody. Certainly Brandon's going to have his stand there. He'll have some DVDs. Hopefully, we'll know where he's at on the networks at that time. Cryptid Creatures will have their stand. I mean, walk around, talk to us. If you see me, stop me. I mean, my people are on the black shirts that say Spirit. They have a ghost in the state of Indiana. It's really easy to see. It's kind of what I'm wearing right now. Stop us, talk to us. We're more than happy to help. We're going to develop this further. Next year will be bigger and better. I'm asking everybody to come out. It is a free admission. So if you come out to this, it won't cost you a dime. You'll be able to park for free. You'll be able to enter for free. There are door prizes. There's going to be lectures. And Brandon is one of our lecturers. I'm in charge of all the speakers. So that's one thing that Chris and Christina has put me in charge of. I'm one of the assistant directors for this. So, and I know that Brian and Todd are both on the panels. There's a lot of fun things still going on out there. So I think there's going to be a lot of things there. Now, I've asked you guys a ton of questions. This is your turn to pick on me. What would you like to ask me? Oh, I catch you off guard. I go back and mix a drink while you're working on it.
Everything.
We've been going on for over an hour, and I have another engagement for another interview that I got to do here.
Understood. So let's wrap this up then.
So.
And guys, I can't thank you enough for being on here. I can't thank you enough for your friendship and your future friendship. And thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We'll be in touch, I promise. And if you ever need anything from me, you're welcome to reach out. If not, ladies and gentlemen, the Crawfordsville Paracon will be on the 24th and 25th of October. Please be there. And thank you so much from Ghost to
Chief.
Ghost.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks, Chief.
Good night.
We appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Ghost. Again, I'm your host, Chief Lawson. You can find Ghost to Ghost on all major formats on the 15th and 30th of the month at midnight. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, maybe have a question or subject you'd like to ask about on air or be used on the show, please email us at ghosttoghost@spiritindiana.com, ghosttoghost@spiritindiana.com. I want to thank my production staff on Spirit, Jennifer Verne, our research manager and our producer, and Heather Lawson, our trainer on Spirit and our podcast director, for helping make these podcasts possible. My chief of staff, Andrew Brooks, for his guidance and help on the scripts, and everyone else involved. Thank you so much. See you next time. Until then, stay safe and remember the truth is out there. Good night. Ghost to Ghost podcast and its contents is the property of Spirit Paranormal Ltd. All rights reserved. We welcome you to download and play the podcast and share with others for personal use. You may not, except with written permission, use or distribute its contents for commercial use. Spirit Indiana Paranormal, covering the Hoosier State since 2002, Indy's oldest parapsychology investigation group. If you're experiencing what you believe to be paranormal issues, reach out to us for help at www.spiritindiana.com or call our hotline at 317-883-9103. Again, that is www.spiritindiana.com or our hotline at 317-883-9103. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourself and the ones you love, and be safe out there.